Nerdy Jersey! It's Nerdy Jersey!
And we are here with Daniel Smith, and he's gonna show you his TRAPRIX deck profile.
Yeah, thanks for making it sound really exciting. It's really good. All right, we're gonna.
You look really excited, mate. Oh yeah, Trickstar!
It's like
No, TRAPRIX. I'm wrong.
it's like 2 o'clock in the morning in Berlin.
Yeah.
We're at the World Championship. This deck was not played, and it won't be, but it's great. 3 Amelio, she's pretty good.
This is Australian print. There you go.
That's correct. Well, this
It's upside down.
for people. This is like everyone play this in hat. It's great. It's such a trap hole. Her effect when she's supposed to summon is mandatory. We'll get into that later. Bam, easy, done. This is the one that makes Utopia double.
It's Wolfbach.
What?
It's Wolfbach.
Yeah, but it makes Utopia double.
So it's Wolfbach.
And its trigger effect and Wolfbach's ignition effect. Don't ever play Yu-Gi-Oh with the
Oh
judge.
my god, wow, ouchie.
Mantis, her rotor effect is like okay, but extremely slow. It gets this one, and then obviously you have this one to like summon back with this one to make Utopia double. And also, if you set a card off this, you can bounce it with this to go back to your hand so it doesn't get banished. But she's basically just there because you need more TRAPRIX monsters than the 6 that are actually good. Phantasme is very big. This deck just runs like I'll get to the imperms as well. This deck just runs like infinite hand traps. Basically, like the monsters are all like little 1600 attack, kind of not very impressive guys, but they generate like a pretty reasonable advantage engine. So if you have like a TRAPRIX monster and a normal trap, and then like 3 hand traps, you can just like stop your opponent doing anything, and then like 3 or 4 1600 attack monsters like adds up pretty quickly on their turn. Bam. 3 extravagance. You get to draw cards, which is always good, especially when you're playing a shitty trap deck, because your shitty traps just start trading 1-for-1 with their guys. This is double or nothing.
There's literally 50 in the pile over there, are you serious?
Yeah. I like 9 better.
I also have like 30.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, my friends are terrible. That's all you really
And Google double or nothing.
I run a bunch of normal traps because of Sarah, and I run a bunch of pairs of normal traps, and TRAPRIX just helps you get to them. It's also just nice if like your opponent somehow passes their turn in a way where you don't have to activate a normal trap to disrupt one of their plays. You can just activate this card to get a normal trap from your deck and also trigger your Sarah. This is probably the best of the normal traps that I run. It is the stones. It's pretty good against most decks. It's bad against like Phantasme and good against everything else. Imperial Order is good. I beat World's competitor Jesse Cotton in a friendly game by activating this card after summoning an 1800 attack vanilla, so that was pretty cool.
That was really skillful, well done.
Yeah, no, he was playing Sky Striker. He said, let's play one more game before we go down to get the boys, and he activated Terraforming, and I flipped that, and he said...
Was this the combo?
Let's get the boys.
Is this the combo?
Oh yeah, that was... that one hand movement actually would have just, like, won me a world championship. It was really good.
Crippled.
Trap holes, obviously you need trap holes in TRAPRIX deck. TRAPRIX Trap Hole Nightmare, I run 3 of. This is like maybe 2 and not 3, but I kind of like it. It's, again, this deck like just has kind of 1600 attack monsters, 1700 attack monsters, so the fact that this like negates effect and kills something, like Bottomless is cool, but like often you're bottomlessing something with the trigger effect and they get the effect, and like being able to stop an effect and kill a guy is good. Floodgate is probably the best one. This is probably just like this, or even like this, pretty easily. In Master Roll 4, this is very, very strong. Like, if your opponent ever summons anything into the extra monster zone that isn't a linked monster, you can Floodgate it, and it basically cuts them off all their plays forever. Like, if Salamander are forced to go into Stalio, if any of the pen decks penned into their extra monster zone, which is crazy. And also, almost, like, things have shitty defense, and you can just kill things really, really easily. Bowden lose full group, very important. I run German so I can tell Bowden that he loses, and also make the bottomless title joke, haha, XD. This is like...
Would you bottomless attempt this now that it's legal?
No, probably not. So like, I run like 5 trap holes. It's like maybe not enough, but the deck kind of only gets through like maybe 1 or 2 turns before you've either like run them out of cards or they've just murdered you because they're playing combo. So you kind of don't really end up in a situation where you need to Sarah for a bunch of cards. There's like a world where you play slightly more of all of these, or you like pick one, like going heavier into Floodgate if you're like, if it's good. This deck's like pretty flexible. You can kind of just run like anything that's a normal trap triggers Sarah, right? So if there's a normal trap that's good, you can play it. like the new trap Get Out that like bounces extra deck monsters instead. It's basically like a very good compulsory evacuation device for extra deck monsters. So you could just like take a bunch of stuff out and put a bunch of stuff in. This card, Brigandine, is like part of the Exodia combo, which we'll probably get to after I've done the rest of it. But this is very good. Mandatory 3 of get German ones. Extra deck. Yeah, well then like has a reasonably long name, and also people will read your trap when you activate it the turn you set it, and they won't be able to, and it's very funny. Sarah. Every Link one in the game is broken, and this one's no exception. She has like a million effects, including being totally immune to traps, not just normal traps or trap holes like some of the trap tricks are. If you summon this card and then later on you activate its effect and they try and strike it, you get to politely ask them to put their strike in the grave and write -1500 on their life points, which is funny. She has 2 effects. One is when any normal trap is activated, including your opponent's, you get to special summon a trap tricks from your deck. And also when a trap tricks monster effect is activated, you get to set a whole normal trap card. They're once per turn, but you can do both. So basically, as soon as you activate one effect, you'll probably activate the other one, which is pretty cool.
God, there's so many pluses.
She's also just like a nice like Link 1 points down, which is just good. This is this is Banelinks if Banelinks like did something useful instead of searching a field spell you never want to draw. Exactly. Terrible nightmare cards because you need to kill things occasionally. So like, it seems like in your dumb trap deck you wouldn't be able to make this card, but the whole point is like if you Sarah and you like do the Sarah combo, you end up with like at least 2 monsters. If you Sarah again on their turn, you get a monster, and also you have Dionia, which just like revives a guy from the grave, and also like your Dionia triggers your Sarah. So it's like surprisingly easy to like Sarah and a guy, and on their turn get a guy, and then on your turn like Dionia, and suddenly you just have like 5 dudes, and you can really easily make the moral sword.
Ceiling is huge.
Yeah, and also no one expects that. Like, the whole point of this deck is that, like, the main deck is, like, shitty kind of trap-based monsters that grind out advantage, and the extra deck is just every single way you kill your opponent. So, that's kind of cool. Time Thief Redoer is part of the Exodia combo. I run 2 because I run Extravagance.
I saw it happen.
Yeah.
Saw Jesse Cotton do it Overworlds compared to Raphael Nevin.
Yeah, isn't it incredible?
Destroyed, yeah.
The other cool thing about this deck is that if for some ungodly reason you want to play it for a World Celebration event because you really dislike yourself and the people who play at your locals, you remove... I'm pretty sure it's just this card, and it's, like, totally legal. And there's, like, a bunch of other things you can put in instead of this. But this is very, very good. We'll get to those later. 2 Utopias and 2 Utopia doubles. So this is the, like, other than Moral Sword, this is the other kill 'em combo. It's really, really easy to get to this combo in this deck. If you are going second, any Trap Tricks monster and Brigandine gets you there, and if you're going first, Dionia Resolving gets you there, so people just die out of nowhere. Rafflesia, no one reads this card, which makes it very powerful because knowledge is power.
Maybe an English one that could read it.
Well, even when I had English ones, they didn't try, so I decided that no one can read it now, including me,
Even if that's a
which
choice.
is way funnier. So people played this in Bosch, so people kind of know what it does, and that's like dangerous because if you kind of know what a card does, you don't bother reading it again. So everyone knows like everyone knows like the effect where you like detach a material and you like send a trap hole to the grave and you copy its effect. But her first line texts are like, while she has an exceeded material, other trap tricks you control can't be destroyed by battle or by card effect, and they can't be targeted. So it's if you have like Sarah
crazy.
And then make her under the Sarah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you have Sarah and you make her under the Sarah, like she has 2,500 defense, so they'll always like get real greedy and they'll be like, well, she has 800 attack and she has 2,500 defense. I'm gonna go for damage and like swing over this with like a Sunlight Wolf or something, and you're just like, okay. Neg 1000, continue. And your Sarah just lives through everything. Or they just have to go to the effort to kill this first, which then like just
he's
other layers.
He's got to be lying. It does not do that.
Look how much text this
It's
card
German.
has.
No, that's because it's German.
Yeah.
All their words are long.
All the words will be long.
all their words are 3 different words, like standing on a trench coat together, pretending to be one word.
And that's meant to be Trap Trick, right? It's meant to be.
It's
Fallen
right.
Sterling.
Fallen Stellar, yeah. And Abyss Dweller. The deck is kind of just good rank 4s. So, like, I'm a moron and really enjoy decks like this where you can kind of just, if you're playing in, like, a format where, like, back row is really prevalent, you just, like, take this out and put it in a Tornado Dragon. Or, like, you know, you can take out, like, the traps and just sub them for better traps, basically. Like, you have kind of your core, like, 11 or 12 cards you have to play just to make the engine work. And then from there, if like Trap Trick just isn't good for whatever reason. You're just like, okay, well that's 3 spaces I can put in like Get Out, or I can put in like different trap holes. Side deck is like very unrefined, but we'll get there. More hand traps. This is like mostly for Thunder. It's probably just going to be the big meteor rock thing now, because that's just way better than Klaus and Schlossvogling them. So when Jesse Cotton played this deck for the influencer event, his feedback was, hey, did you know nothing in your main deck or extra deck currently beats Phantasme? Like, Phantasme being 24 is just actually a problem for you. So I was like, cool, I'll put in some Pancratops. He's very big. Anti-spell fragrance. So if you struggle to open the one of Imperial Order, putting 4 more in your deck is like really good. Also,
Pendulum.
a bunch of people from the Netherlands kept telling me that Pendulum best deck, so like this is my response to that, I guess. Heavy Storm Dusters, obviously it could just be like any other spell trap removal, but anything that's a normal trap triggers Sarah, and obviously you can trap trick for it as well. And Evenly Matched is kind of in the same category, so this deck kind of struggles a little bit going second, obviously, because it's a crappy trap deck. This is really nice. You can, even if you like end up in a world where you have to set this, you can like set this and like make just a Sarah and then trigger the Sarah. So the only thing I'll show you, like the weird like haha have to know rulings Exodia combo. It's kind of like
here comes the Trap Trick FDK.
It basically reminds me of like the Guru combo from Subterra, where like you Hidden City, search a Guru, set the Guru, Hidden City, flip it, and you get like a Guru, a guy, and a Hidden City, where it's just like not crazy impressive on its own, but when you're playing in an engine that you get to do that with 2 cards and then set a bunch of floodgates, it just ends up being really good. So basically you just need like any Trap Tricks monster and this guy going first. Ideally you want one of these 2 because they're a plus on their own. So basically you summon either of these, so like let's just say like Mantis. Mantis effect, grab Dionia, so then you have like a follow-up play next turn, which usually ends up being Utopia double. Make this into Sarah. Set this. You can activate this as long as you have no traps in your grave, which you don't going first. So you summon it, it's a level 4 monster. Because a normal trap was activated, Sarah triggers. She lets you special summon any Trap Tricks monster that has different names from cards you control. So obviously you can't summon her, but it just stops you if you have like another Mamelio. You summon Mamelio. Mamelio has an effect when it's special summoned to destroy a spell or trap your opponent controls. That effect is mandatory, which means that it will attempt to activate even if your opponent has no spells and traps, even if it's your first turn, even if they haven't had a chance to play the game yet. So basically this effect will just activate and then do nothing. But it activating and doing nothing is enough to trigger Sarah's other effect, which lets you set a trap hole from your deck. So you grab whatever trap hole you want, set it, and then at this point you can basically make any rank 4 you like. So options would be like Dweller if you know what you're playing into. You can make Rafflesia if for some reason you think like a deck's particularly vulnerable to trap holes. But Reader is just like the better choice like 90% of the time. He having the trap underneath him means that he basically turns into another interruption. So again, like not crazy impressive, but in your opening hand of like 5 cards or like 6 if you have the extravagance, you kind of just those 2 cards end on a Sarah, something to trigger the Sarah next turn, which is also a trap hole that interrupts an opponent's play, a Redoer with an interruption underneath, like a card engraved to revive, and a Dionia as well. If you end up using this effect, you kind of like end up in nutty places where you're like summoning this, reviving this, popping it back row, making Utopia double and killing them. And that can kind of just be your follow-up turn. So even though it's like, I think like the problem with a lot of trap decks is they lack proactive plays. Like your turns end up being like set a Guru, set 4. This deck is really nice, I feel, because it has like a lot of proactive plays where you're like summoning guys, gaining advantage, and then planning to kill them next turn, not just planning to set 5 back row and pass. Cool, that's about it.
Any shoutouts?
Shout out to whoever on Reddit I stole the idea for Shade Brigandine from. Shout out to all my American friends for helping me find German versions of these cards so I can flex on people at locals. And shout out Jesse Cotton for giving me this American print Utopia, which I'll treasure for the rest of my life. The end.